Okay, here are some sentence completion problems that I'm going to go over. Tackle number one. Amanita bisporigella, a variety of destroying angel mushroom, is so blank that it can be blank if consumed. Obviously, the destroying is very negative, and here's a cause and effect relationship. So I'll say the best words that fits in the first blank is dangerous. It's so dangerous because it's destroying and it can be blank if consumed. Obviously, if you eat this, it's going to be pretty bad, and I would say fatal is like probably the best choice. Delectable means tasty, so you not choose that. Scarce means you're lacking or missing something, doesn't make sense. Common doesn't make sense. Beautiful is positive, so B is the answer. Poisonous and deadly. The politician was a blank speaker whose debating skills were admired even by blank she outwitted. Obviously, the second blank has to have enemies. Okay, and opponent sounds good. That's because we have even by here. Normally, the enemies would not admire the opposing candidate, but she was so good that they had to acknowledge her skill. So we have to have, so her speaking skill is really good. She's a good orator, good public speaker. So you do not have something negative, so you have that positive tone. Weak is negative. Bashful means shy, that's negative in this context. And good-hearted has good-hearted is good-hearted speaker is not necessarily a good speaker, so I'll cross that out. So leaving you either A or C. But we already determined the second blank has to be enemy or opponent, so you can't have advisor there. So answer is A. 3. Michiko Shoda was not of noble rank. The key is not of noble rank. When she married into the Japanese imperial family, she was the first blank to do so. First. Okay. If she's not from noble rank or noble family, she's not likely landowner. She's not likely investor. Imposter means someone who's one who deceive, and we don't see that in the context, and we don't see that she's a foreigner, so answer is C, commoner. So commoner is someone without, okay, let me rephrase that. Ordinary citizen without title. Number 4. After years of taking art history courses and visiting museums, Ed considered himself a true blank of fine art. Okay, this is a definition. When you see connoisseur, it's an expert in taste or in fine art. Okay, censor is critic, so that's not it. Guardian is nothing to do with this. Pilferer means one who steals. So that's not it. And simulator is the virtual training program, has nothing to do with this. Number 5, the candidate blank the media's charge of political inexperience by citing his broad background in both local and state government. Notice we have a media, we have a fight here, media versus the candidate. The media is attacking him what? His political inexperience. But the candidate is arguing or he's citing his broad background, wide background in both local and state government. So you can see candidate is arguing or some kind of rejecting the media's claim. So the best choice is rebutted. It means to reject or refute by giving out evidence. Okay, reiterated means repeated. Relinquished means gave up. Conflated means merged. And disregarded means ignored. B. Number 6. As reformers, Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X each sought to blank social injustice by distinctly different means. It's very tempting to choose something like fight against social injustice, but we don't have such choices, so we have to look for alternative. In this case, I would use elimination method. Use elimination to see if it makes sense. Alright, first you need to be familiar with some vocab. Resuscitate means revive. And you ask yourself, they try to revive social injustice. Doesn't sound right. Exonerate means to pardon. They would not pardon social injustice. And replicate means to copy social injustice. No. Elaborate social injustice. They are activists, they are not elaborating social injustice, so E is out. Ameliorate means to improve. Chances are they could not probably erase completely the social injustice, but they could improve little by little. So answer is C. Number 7. While the movie employs stock characterization, that's the important one here. Stock characterization, stereotypical character that we tend to evoke right initially. Like when we talk about tomboy, we don't have to describe, or we don't need a character development of this, or something like a nerd, or like a dumb blonde. They are like stock characterization, if you are wondering. So admirers argue that it is blank even if depictions are blank. Slightly challenging compared to other problems so far. You see the admirers, right? They are supporters. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, will supporters like these characterizations? And they're arguing, like defending, so chances are yes. So it has to be some positive, even if its depictions are mildly negative. Maladerate means unskilled, so and proficient means skilled, and that's not positive. Soporific, sleepy, doesn't make sense. Abstruse means hard to understand. Argue that it is compelling. Okay, D might work. Dismal is not here. You can, that's negative. Okay, now you have to choose a second blank, even if its depictions are blank. Okay, I told you that stock characterization is very stereotypical. So in this context, which one is more fitting, like more stereotypical, formulaic or controversial? Well, check your formulaic. This means all formula, right? They fit into perfectly into stereotype. So the answer choice, the best answer choice for this problem is D. Number 8, believing that scientists should blank the public about important scientific issues. Marine ecologist Jane Lubchenco has urged the research community to abandon its blank in favor of more effective communication. Okay, we have some shift of abandoning. So you see that here to here. They have to abandon something to be more communicative. So you can see some contrast here. So that means before she mentioned this, they were usually what? Probably quiet, right? Something less communicative. Less communicative. Do we have any? Diffidence might work. Candor and probity. They mean honesty. They both mean honesty, so they are out. Sophistry. Trickery. Means trickery. And that's not it. Reticence means reserved. State of being reserved or quiet. That might work. Now let's take a look at the first blank. Believing that scientists should blank the public. Probably like inform, right? I would say inform is probably the best choice. The public about important scientific issues. Okay, so okay, she believes and she's urging, and this is about important scientific issue. She will not really try to pacify or appease or flatter. So A is out. So leaving you only D. Edify means morally instruct. Instruct morally. And admonish means to scold. Apprise means to inform. And beguile means to deceive. Okay. So that explains that. Alright, that's it.